Mr. Mark Hashimoto, the Executive Director for Marine Corps Forces Pacific. We interviewed you on Tinian. It's your fourth night. Tell us just what has been the feedback. What is the pulse of the community that you're hearing so far?
Okay, 2 success criteria for us for all the nights. We want the public to come here, learn more about our proposed action, and we want their input based on their understanding of what we're planning to do. So every night, I think, has been getting better and better, and we measure that by more and more comments. There's been a lot of conversation. People have been hanging with us for a long time, engaging with our subject matter experts, and we measure our success by the more input that we get. And I think that's been on the upswing every night. After we get done every night, our team gets together. How can we do this better? How can we set the room up better? What worked? What didn't? How can we improve the flow? And therefore, how can we get at our 2 objectives, which are that the public understands our proposed action better and they provide us with input for the formal record.
I know in your speech every night you mentioned the 14-year-old who spoke up about the plans and changing the islands. I'm curious if you've had any conversations this week that have struck you. Anything anyone has said to you that you've kind of held on to this week, or any common theme you've been hearing?
I don't know if there would be one that was as that stood out as much as that one did, because I think we're in a completely different place. So the vibe was different back then. And so while there have been people who have expressed significant concerns about a variety of topics, I think part of the credit to our team is that we brought people who can address it. Again, we just haven't dropped something on people and then it comes to as a big surprise, and we let them know that we're still in conversation with them. And again, I keep going back to this, we need their input. We need their input for the formal record in the form of written or spoken comments so that we can act on them if we can find a solution that, like I've been saying every night, that we can find a way to get to a place where we can have a world-class training area, that can essentially work for everybody.
And you were here last night. There were about a dozen or so protesters from different community organizations. I know on night 1 we asked you about your response to a separate protest, and you said, of course, you support the First Amendment peaceful protest. I mean, what would you say? What would you say to those protesters?
We appreciate the fact that they're respectful, and I think they understand the real purposes of this meeting. Again, make sure the public gets as much information as they possibly can about our proposed advanced training area on Tinian, and number 2, provides us with usable comments for the formal record to make the draft DEIS better when it comes out in its final version. Those are our 2 objectives, and those are the 2 objectives that we support. So we expect to see them again tonight, and we're very polite. Please have some food, walk around, talk to our folks.
All right, and 2 more questions. They have to deal with what's next. And so you're heading to Rota. I understand it's a bit of a smaller group. What's happening on Rota, and I guess why is it a smaller group, if you're able to share?
We did similar meetings in August of 2023. Same 2 nights on Tinian, 2 on Saipan, and we also did 1 on Rota. So we're going to be at the mayor's office in Rota, I think at 3 p.m. tomorrow. Yes. And this is based on our experience when we came here a little less than 2 years ago, that we think that was about right for the turnout that we expect to see.
All right, and then that will be the final public meeting this time around. So what happens in the next month, the next year? Can you just explain that to the public who might be wondering what happens with the comments, and then where does this go? Is there a third draft, or is it final? Okay.
The publication of the draft EIS on June 6th started a 75-day comment period. We're more than happy. That's quite a bit longer than normal, but it's indicative of what I've said, is that we work collaboratively with the public. We're not trying to rush anybody through some things or through anything, and we know that probably there's never enough time to consider every possible thing for every possible person. But at the end of that 75-day public comment period, then we take a look at all the comments and we figure out, okay, which are the ones that we can actually take action on, because what we would love to have are comments of things about, we didn't think of that, and it's actually going to make our proposed action better. So those would be incorporated into a final draft, and then the publication of the final draft is followed by a certain period, and we have been saying for probably several years now that we anticipate that this all culminates with what's called a record of decision, and we have always been focused on the scheduled record of decision in May of 2026. So this being June 2025, we still got a ways to go before we come to anything that provides us, with that would essentially make us compliant with the National Environmental Protection Act.
And just to set expectations, this is pretty much the last public meeting that will happen in this fashion, or is that wrong? Or
we will evaluate that, and based on the comments that we have, we'll sort that out. But I wouldn't rule it out necessarily. I wouldn't promise that we'll necessarily do that. But we want to move forward with the process, and if that's warranted, then we'll see what we can do.
Okay, and sorry, last question. I should have asked it earlier. We have met some people who say 75 days is not enough. One person yesterday commented to us, if you work a full-time job, that alone, don't even rope in family responsibilities after that job, that it's not enough time to read, right, the 1,000-page plus documents. So, what's your response to them? We heard that on Tinian, and we did hear it here that, working people, family people want more time. So what would you say to that?
Well, I'd say, Tomas, as a young person, and this is somewhat off topic.
Okay.
Do you use artificial intelligence?
I do. Are you suggesting they put it through ChatGPT or?
Not to make them make up their minds,
okay.
But I think there are tools out there now that are readily available and free that can help people in all sorts of endeavors kind of comb through large amounts of information and zero them in, especially if you're doing the prompts correctly. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It can really zero you in, and we find that as we try to, whatever we're doing in our endeavors, if we're trying to process a lot of information, we find tools like that to be very useful. I'm not saying that it's a substitute, and anything, as you know, that comes out of a large language model has to be verified, but at least it can give people a start to know what they should look at.
And I guess also coming down here tonight, if you're watching this, that's another opportunity to get the summaries right going around. Okay, I just want to open the floor. Anything else you want to say? We'll be following you to Rota, and so we'll see you there too. But anything you want to let the community watching online know?
Thanks for everybody who's come out. We really appreciate that. Put your input in. We need it for the formal record. We want the final EIS to be the best document that it can be, and that can only happen if the public participates in this process.